What's up, boxing world? And welcome to another edition of Fantasy Bout Hour, the channel dedicated to bringing you fantasy matchups on a regular basis. If there's a particular matchup that you want me to cover, please leave it in the comment section, and I promise to honor your request. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell notification. The fight that I'll be bringing to you in this video comes by way of request, and it is coming from Jorge Torres. I thank you for your request, and I thank you for participating in the channel. The fight that he mentioned is a fight that I'm thinking would take place at middleweight, and it is Bernard, the Executioner, or the Alien Hopkins, whatever you want to call him. Bernard Hopkins versus Canelo Alvarez. And it's a good matchup considering we all have Canelo fever right now. And congratulations to Canelo on a brilliant knockout victory over Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant put up one hell of a fight and deserves credit for it. I personally want to see a rematch of this fight. And so Canelo has a lot of fans and Canelo has a lot of haters. A lot of emotions are involved when it comes to Canelo. But I personally am a fan. And, I think he's accomplishing a lot. He has a brilliant career thus far. He's the number one pound for pound fighter in my estimation. That may get me into trouble. But it's my opinion and so on and so forth. So Bernard Hopkins versus Canelo Alvarez. We know the skills of Bernard Hopkins. Whenever I'm talking about Bernard Hopkins, I always talk about how he has a lot of tricks in the trick bag, or too many tricks in the trick bag for his opponents. Bernard Hopkins is not a flashy fighter, but Bernard Hopkins is a cagey fighter. He knows his way around the ring. Like I said, he knows all the tricks. And I always joke around and say that he makes fighting dirty in art form. And so it is what it is. If you can get away with it, more power to you. At the end of the day, it's a fight. And so he just knows how to slip little things in there and get away with it. And so that's not to say he's not a great fighter, but tactics are part of it. It's a part of it. And I think that most fighters have tactics that they use inside of that square circle. So Bernard Hopkins knows how to clinch. He knows how to smother his opponents. And he knows how to slip punches in there. He knows how to accidentally on purpose use his head. So great jab, great defense, probably among the best defenders, in the sport of boxing. And so Bernard is just cagey in there. I would say one of the weaknesses of Bernard Hopkins is sometimes he's allowed himself to get outworked by waiting too long to attack, or waiting for the perfect moment to attack. And sometimes that perfect moment doesn't come. So sometimes with his style, he runs the risk of being outworked. And sometimes he struggles with fighters just as technical as him or more technically sound than him. There's not many that's more technically sound than Bernard Hopkins. But he struggled with Chad Dawson for a reason, because Chad Dawson was extremely technically sound. So Bernard Hopkins didn't have that advantage in that fight. The styles makes fights, and you just look for things that you can capitalize on. So it's just the way that it is. Of course, Canelo is a rising star. As I said at the beginning of this video, he has a lot of fans. He has a lot of haters, but all superstars do. So I think he's handling it just well. And Canelo is extremely talented, extremely gifted. He's a natural in there. He can box. He can brawl. Great pressure fighter. And just tremendous power. This guy is breaking eye sockets right and left. And that's not to disrespect his opponents, but it just goes to show you how dangerous Canelo is. And something that's been getting me a lot is every time Canelo fights someone, you have a lot of fans talking about, well, how come he didn't fight such and such? He fought Caleb Plant, who's a brilliant boxer, very slick boxer, very skilled boxer, but all people can talk about is Andre, Benavidez, and Charlo. Now, if he would have fought Benavidez, Charlo, and Andre, then people would have been wondering, well, why isn't he fighting Caleb Plant or BJ Saunders? So Canelo can't win. He just can't win. There's nothing wrong with his opponent selection. There's nothing wrong with Caleb Plant. And he's beat 2 back-to-back undefeated fighters. And so I don't get what the fuss is about. And frankly, I think that Caleb Plant is better than Andre, Charlo, and Benavidez. So, I'm up for a friendly debate. And so whoever disagrees, let's talk about it. And I just challenge you to prove me wrong on that. So Canelo's career is shaping up terrific. It's just shaping up. He's coming up. He's getting better and better. So, and Caleb Plant gave him a fight. He gave him a fight. But like Mayweather and like Andre Ward, Canelo knows how to adjust. He's a great adjuster in there. So as far as who would win a fight between Hopkins and Canelo, as I said, Hopkins has a lot of tricks in the trick bag. So Hopkins isn't an easy fighter to deal with in there, especially with his slickness, his caginess. Yeah, Bernard Hopkins knows how to get it done, knows how to frustrate his opponents, knows how to grab and hold, clinch, and all that good stuff. But the question I'm asking myself right now, is he strong enough for Canelo? Now, Bernard Hopkins, is the natural middleweight, but Canelo is strong. He's strong for coming up from welterweight. So this is an interesting fight. I feel that Bernard is technically superior to Canelo. He has more abilities. He can fight backwards. He can fight going forward. He can fight in the clinches. So Bernard, he can do it all. He can do it all. And Bernard is a very physical fighter. I feel that Canelo has quicker hands. I don't know about power. Like I said, Bernard is the natural middleweight here. So, and Bernard wouldn't be as easy to hit as most of Canelo's opponents at middleweight. But Canelo may be the more talented of the two. I think he's the more talented of the two. But I keep going back to that trick bag of Bernard Hopkins. And he has a big, thick trick bag. And could Canelo deal with that? I'm not sure. Could Canelo possibly outwork Bernard? I think it's a possibility. So as I'm trying to come to a conclusion, there's just so many things that are popping up in my mind. For all the hate that Canelo gets, he's a talented fighter. Love him or hate him, he's a talented fighter. But he's more of a come forward, throw punches, let his hands go, hand speed, and power. But as I said, Bernard Hopkins brings the awkwardness. He brings the trick bag, as I keep referring to or referencing. He brings the trick bag, and he just brings a lot of knowledge. So I'm leaning towards a Hopkins decision in this one. Bernard Hopkins, I didn't consider him a knockout artist. But I just feel he just brings too much to the table for Canelo to be able to bully him to be able to impose his will. And I see Canelo possibly becoming frustrated down the stretch. Canelo is going to give a great effort. He's going to take the fight to Bernard, but I just see him struggling with the things that Bernard does. So it's definitely going to go to the cards, but I just have to go with Bernard on this one by decision. And so those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next video.